Right, so we have news regarding the iPhone 14 series that Apple's obviously going to be announcing at the September event, and so let's delve into it. So let's begin with some details from Maguire Wood, a pretty credible source, and regarding the displays, Maguire does say the Pros are getting the new cutouts. That's to be expected. They do look weird according to him, so I'm looking forward to seeing that in real life. But also because of this new hardware, maybe we do get Face ID improvements. I've been wanting Face ID to work from more angles, especially when the iPhone's laying flat, and so I do hope we get that. Now, Maguire also believes we're going to see Gorilla Glass Victus on this, which is interesting because Apple does use a modified version of that, which of course they term ceramic shield, so maybe Maguire's mixing things up. And the fact he says no major changes does make me think this is going to have the same ceramic shield tech we saw with the 12 and 13 series. And I can't lie, this is disappointing because ceramic shield does scratch pretty easily, so of course I was hoping that Apple was going to resolve that with a new version of this tech, but yeah, maybe we see that next year instead. Now, we could also see reverse wireless charging with these iPhones via future updates, and that's pretty interesting because, in case you don't know, the 12 and 13 do have wireless charging coils that already have this tech, but they're only being used for the MagSafe power bank and not to charge other devices. And so I thought that was a sign that Apple was never going to give us reverse wireless charging with the iPhone, but no, Maguire believes iOS 16.5 could introduce this. And for those of you wondering why this won't be available at launch, I'm not too sure myself. The only theory I have is that the source says there is a bigger MagSafe power bank on the way, so of course, assuming that's going to release in April/May like the OG version, we could see reverse wireless charging with the MagSafe power banks. It's either that or maybe Apple's not happy with the charging speeds, or they've been facing overheating issues, and so they might need more time to resolve this. And actually, if that's the case, I could see Apple pushing the feature back for the 15 series, since I'm sure that Apple wants to mention this feature on stage at launch, instead of launching it through an update. And by the way, the MagSafe magnets are getting stronger with the 14 series, and this might be for the larger power banks. And finally, regarding charging, we could see 30 watts of wide charging with the 14 series, and this does sound legit because the 13 Pro Max unofficially, I believe, did hit 27 watts of charging, so of course, Apple improving upon that certainly makes sense. However, Maguire does make it clear that the speed is going to drop down to 25 to 27 watts by the end of the charge cycle to, of course, reduce heat and protect these batteries. And for those of you who wirelessly charge their devices, unfortunately there's going to be no improvements, and so that means with a regular Qi wireless pads, it's still going to be a pretty slow 7.5 watts, which does suck to be honest, but as an upside, could somewhat preserve battery health. Anyways, moving on, there's now a ton of case listings and cases themselves that show the lower end 6.7 inch iPhone might be the 14 Plus and not the 14 Max. Now, I do have my doubts over this because this being the same size as the Pro Max means it would make complete sense to call this the regular Max, but I guess one could argue that many regular consumers do call the Pro Max just the Max. In fact, I know many friends who do that, and so having a Max and a Pro Max in the lineup might be confusing to some consumers. Also, one could argue that Max stands for the very best iPhone experience with all the best features, and that's really not going to be the case with the regular 6.7 inch iPhone, so calling this the 14 Plus could make sense. Then again, Apple nowadays does use Plus for services, and so yes, because Apple's naming scheme is so convoluted, it's pretty hard to predict which direction Apple's going to go with the naming. Anyways, we also have images of a possible iPhone 14 case. It's called Succulent Green, which sounds pretty sus, but the colour itself does look great, and we also have screen protectors showing us how massive the new cutout is on the front, and yeah, I'm quite surprised by its size. And we do also have new clear cases, which show how ginormous the camera bump is going to be on the Pro Max, and also the slightly different corner radius. These case leaks also confirm that yes, we're going to see a new max size, so unlike other leaks who did suggest we could see a 14 mini instead, no, the cases do suggest we are very much getting a regular Max. And personally, with the market rejecting the Mini, I think that's dead. We can be pretty sure we're going to get the Max. And for those wondering about the 14 Pro Max weight, we have a leak suggesting it could be 249 grams, which is a 9-gram increase over the 13 Pro Max. Now this I'm not looking forward to, because the 13 Pro Max already is a pretty hefty device, and so increasing the weight is gonna make this an even more cumbersome experience, and so I'm gutted we did not see titanium with this year's iPhones, because I'm sure that would have massively decreased the weight of this device. And by the way, Max Weinbach, who by the way was the first source who told us an event was going to be on the 7th, believes that carriers are starting to receive iPhone 14 accessories. We could also get price increases of $100 with the Pro models, basically corroborating with other sources. And I do think that we're still going to stick with 128 gigs of storage, since do remember storage is the easiest way Apple can of course upsell you on the higher end models and ultimately make more money. So yes, I do think 128 gigs of base storage is just low enough where most consumers are gonna get 256. And yes, I know that if we do get 128, that's gonna miss out on 4K and 8K ProRes, but do remember most consumers getting the base Pros do not care about ProRes. In fact, I'm sure they also don't know what ProRes is. And so yeah, this is a non-issue for those who care about ProRes. They're gonna get the higher storage tiers. Anyways, we have some updates regarding the pill cutout on the 14 Pros. The first reports regarding the old school battery indicator coming back to the Pros, because there's now more space at the top, and this is great news because I do prefer this layout compared to the actual number being in the battery bar instead. But moving on to the other report, we have a video showing us the ability to switch between the long pill design and of course the eye hole we've seen for months. And to be honest, I have my doubts over this. For one, the bezels are pretty thick on this, and we've heard about thinner bezels with the 14 Pros. Also, the corners aren't curved enough. But also, do remember that Apple's not one to give us options. They, of course, go with one design and embrace it, and we're forced to live with it. I mean, I remember rumors suggesting that you could hide the notch on the iPhone 10, but that was not the case, and so that's going to be the case again with this pill. There's no way Apple's going to give us an option to get rid of it and go to the eye hole design instead. Anyways, that's about it guys, but tell me your thoughts regarding these reports in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video above on details regarding the iPad 10, and on that note, see ya peeps.